One of the hardest things to do in life is to make decisions. Like, you can spend so much time wondering about what should I do now? What should I do in this situation or that situation? Or if I do this, is this going to happen? Or will this happen? Or is everything going to work out all right? I know for me that I can be a person who just takes a long time to make decisions. Always worried about what I'm doing, whether it's going to have the right consequences, whether things will work out as I want. And the worst thing is when not you've got a good decision or a bad decision, but like two good decisions or two bad options. Just choices where you're not sure, where both of them seem good, and you're trying to work out what exactly to do. And I think part of the pressure that we can have with that is simply because we want to do what God wants. Like, we're trying our best to follow God, trying our best to do what He would like, because we have in our mind this idea that if I do what God wants, that's going to be the best thing for me. And so we'll spend ages, especially when we need to make a decision, praying, thinking about it, asking God to give us signs. Like, for me, it almost gets to the thing where every other movement or every person who talks to me becomes a sign of what I may do. Like, I start asking God, was what that person said what I should do? Should I follow the way that they're saying to go? And I realized that one of the big things about making decisions is that what if our decisions aren't as important as we think they are? Like, for most people, the reason we want to make good decisions is that we want to have a good life. And we feel that if we follow what God wants, that will guarantee us a good life. So we almost have this formulator in our minds. I go to God, I make the decision that He wants, and that gives me a good life. And the funny thing is that it may not necessarily be like that. There are so many people who have followed God and then things haven't worked out how they wanted them to, or things haven't gone as they were expecting them to. There's this really interesting story in Isaiah chapter 30, where God is really talking to the children of Israel and trying to tell them to come back to Him as He's always doing. And He's talking about how He won't listen to what they're saying and things are going to go wrong for them. But as always happens in these kind of stories, eventually God says to them, but you know what, there will come a time when things will begin to work well, when you will understand and you'll follow me the way you should. And then God has this really interesting verse in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 21, where He says, when you turn to the right, or when you turn to the left, you will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Not when you do what I want, you will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. But when you turn to the right, or even to the left. And for me, that says something really interesting, because it says that maybe the big thing about making the decision isn't just what decision you make, but about who you're making it with, who you're walking with through the process, who you're allowing to lead you. What if the point isn't about making the decision, but walking with God, about allowing Him to lead and about allowing Him to be part of all of your life? Because you serve a God who isn't simply trying to keep you on the right path, but trying to make you into the right person. And that's a person who trusts Him totally and completely. A person who doesn't think about God as someone who just fixes things, comes in and makes them better when you mess them up, but a person who can take all your decisions and everything you're doing and make something beautiful out of them. So today, I just want to say to you, don't be as stressed about that decision you've got to make. Don't think that it's going to be the end of the world if you make the wrong one. But know that you serve a God who cares, and a God who can make something beautiful out of absolutely anything, and all He wants you to do is to learn to trust Him.